here there be spoilers. Beware any you haven't read yet. Avast, ye viewers! Ge back, afore ye be spiled of this book. Hey everybody, Graz back. Sorry, first of all, that I didn't do this yesterday as promised. Just didn't feel like it. We all have days like that. So also sorry to those of you who like it that there's no cosplay. I am only going to be doing that on the adaptations where I can mimic something from the movie. So anyway, today is episode 3 of our Vacation with the Torrances, which will be The Shining, the novel. In case you missed the first two, episode 1 was the 1997 miniseries starring Steven Weber and Rebecca De Mornay. And episode 2 was the 1980 Stanley Kubrick movie starring Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall. Both are on the channel. They're the last 2 videos that we made. So if you're interested in watching all of them, then go ahead and do that. But today we're going to talk about the book. So let's just get into it. This should be fun. 1977 was the year. The pages of a book was the place. The third release of a fledgling author was the reason. The Shining. This story has been terrifying readers for decades, and I see no reason for it to stop. Similar to how the Kubrick movie is one of the top 5 scary movies all time, this book is one of the scariest books of all time as well. I don't know if it's top 5, but it's definitely, considering the amount of books that have been written, it's definitely high on the list. What I like to do is I like to give my positives and negatives for each book, and some other stuff at the end. So that's what we're going to get into right now. I like to start with the negatives so that we end on a positive note. So let's get into the negatives. Number 1. I know it was only his 3rd book, but 2 out of the 3 had a writer as the star. And since then, that number has kind of grown exponentially with the number of writers that are his stars or heroes. Yeah, enough said on that, right? Number 2, Wendy. Let me actually stop you let me just stop myself right there because I kind of forgot to say something. This is actually book 1 in our book club, the GKBC, which includes myself, my wife, our daughter, and my mom, the Graz mother. So this is number 1 of the series where we are reading all of Stephen King's books. No particular order, although we do try to keep the series or duos or whatever together. So all of these opinions are the 4 of us combined and collated or whatever. So keep that in mind. Okay, so number 2, Wendy was stupid for staying with Jack after, verbal abuse, the drinking, and the physical abuse that he puts on their son. It's classic battered syndrome. I'm not calling it battered woman syndrome because men and women can be battered. Anyway, number 3, the book dragged on a little. Honestly, it could have been about 100 pages shorter. I know it's great, but there's a lot of things that could be taken out. I mean, the scenery's wonderful, but there's a little too much of it, and like we'll get into some stuff that could be taken out here. Number 4, Unmask, Unmask was repeated way too much, and not a good repetition, because sometimes you can repeat something and it works, but we felt that Unmask didn't. So, number 5, The Road to the Hotel. Oh my lord, it's described so well, and then in both the movie and the miniseries, it's shown perfectly how going next to the mountain and weaving next to a great big mountain. They're like on the side of the mountain. It's terrifying. And if you've ever ridden or driven on one of those, then you know what we're talking about. It's awful. I mean, just the thought that a skid in the road or a freak flat tire and you're at the bottom of this chasm. It's awful. Just awful. I shudder just thinking about reading or seeing it again. Number 6. Jack could have actually taken the time to write an outline for his play. I mean, even at the beginning, if he was truly writing a play, then he could have written an outline, at least an outline for it, before the hotel started taking over everything and showing him the scrapbooks and making him want to write a book. I mean, he's a writer after all. Number 7, there was too much backstory for Jack. I mean, I know that we need to have that, but, I mean, do we really need so much of his Stovington time and everything? I mean, just get to the meat and bones, move on, and get back to the Overlook where the story actually is. Number 8, Halloran making it back to the Overlook on time is unrealistic. I mean, seriously, he gets pulled over by a cop before he even makes it to the airport. He misses his flight. He has to wait till the next day. When he gets to Colorado, he's slowed by the snow. Then he has to fight his way through the hedge animals, and he's still on time to make it before Jack kills anybody or the hotel does anything. Permanent. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I know you're trying to put in barriers, but it just wasn't realistic. Number 9, Dr. Edmonds treats Danny's shine like he's just having lucky guesses somehow, even when he reads the future and it comes true. It's a typical professional opinion. Just immediately toss out anything that doesn't fit neatly into the ideas that you already know or the books that you've read. It's typical Doctor. Less said about that, the better. In number 11, which is our final negative, there's way too much Tony until Tony is needed. Like he's always there. He's everywhere, warning and warning and whining and whining until his help could actually be useful. And then, like a fart in the wind, he's gone. Okay. That's our negatives. Not too bad. Take out some of Jack's backstory. Honestly, I'd say even take out the visit to Sidewinder where they meet Dr. Edmonds. And you've got a shorter, more succinct novel, and that would be better. Anyway, let's move on to the positives. The scenery. Oh, Stephen King knows how to weave a tapestry of everything around his characters. He knows how to do scenery and landscapes. Oh, the mountains, the valleys, the road, the hotel. I mean, you actually feel like you're there. That's one of his big strengths, along with character building. Number 2, Wendy's inner strength. I'm telling you, do not mess with this mama bear. She was clearly terrified of Jack and what was happening with the hotel and what Jack was becoming. But she clearly would have died for Danny, her son. So don't mess with her, because she's got that well of strength. Number 3, Dick Halloran. A wonderful side hero. He may have been knocked down as soon as he got there, but his perseverance to get there, and then the distraction that he caused, albeit brief, helped Danny and Wendy do what they needed to do, gave them a chance to keep fighting, and then, because of how he got there, he gave them a way to escape in the snow cat mobile thing. Number 4, and in my opinion, the most important of it all, is Jack's love for Danny. The hotel is strong. It takes him over. It uses him with his alcoholism, and it enhances the violence within him. But when the chips are down and there is almost no time left, he fights through it all with his love for his son to give Danny a chance to get away and remind Jack and whatever's inside of him that they forgot the boiler. It's the only reason that Danny, Wendy, or Dick survive is Jack's fight through an ultimate sacrifice. Anyway, and it ticks me off that they kind of crap on it in Doctor Sleep as much as they do. I hate that. Anyway, number 5 is how terrifying King makes everything. I mean, the hedgemals, or hedge animals, the hotel, the ghosts, even the damn snow. Everything has an energy at the Overlook that makes you feel scared at every noise or everything that you see, every corner. It's another one of his huge strengths. Number 6 is the connection between Halloran and Danny, how they shine and they can communicate even over big distances. It makes it a wonderful friendship between the two. It gives Danny someone to share his gift with who truly understands it, not just, oh yeah, I get that, but not really, but, Dick knows. Plus, it gives him a mentor-mentee relationship, which Danny needs. Number 7, the complete isolation. It's total. The Torrances, it's like they're just alone. It's the Torrances and the snow and whatever lives in the hotel. It's complete isolation. It's very awesome. Number 8, the slow simmering descent of Jack's mental state. I mean, his slow burn into the possession by the hotel. The reemergence of his need for the alcohol and the drink and all of his little things, chewing the aspirin and stuff. And the hotel just giving it to him to get to whatever, make him on their side. It's very well done. Very well written. And well acted by Steven Weber. Number 9, the topiaries moving and not moving. I mean, it every time they're on the page and they're moving, it makes you think they're coming out of the page to get you. He really paints that picture well too. Number 10, she creeps. For those of you that have read the book, that should be enough. It's the best line. It's repeated often. A good repetition. And once you know what it means, it gives you everything you need to know in those 2 words. She creeps. For those that haven't read it and are watching a spoilery video about a book that you should probably read, She Creeps is the boiler. It creeps up with the pressure building and building until it blows. Or could blow. Number 11, the claustrophobia and the loneliness. This is completely different to the isolation, and you feel it on every page once they actually get to the Overlook and they're cut off from Sidewinder. I mean, the snow makes everything seem smaller. The hotels seem to shrink. The caretaker's apartment seems smaller every time they go back to it. And the echoes from the halls and the doors and everything, they seem to come from both closer and farther away. And it's an interesting feeling. Those are the positives. Now, and my positives and negatives are inspired by Dave Musson. I will link his channel down below. And another channel that inspires me is Tad. Tad reads books and stuff, and I'll link him too. It's because of him I'm going to do the numbers, and then I'll give you our overall rating, and I'll explain our rating system, and then there's a few other things that I want to talk about. So on Goodreads, The Shining has a 4.26 rating, which is solid. It's actually better when you consider that there are 1,337,702 ratings that have rated this thing at an average of 4.26. Whoa. 1.3 million. And it has 32,744 reviews. And the paperback, which we read from, is 659 pages. Before I give the ratings, I'd also like to point out that for the Stephen King, the GKBC, our book club, for each book, for the shelves that it will eventually be in the library, we are buying a fancy copy. Might not be fancy to you, but they're the ones that appeal to us with the cover and everything. And this is the BAM Books copy of The Shining, and that red rum on the cover is gorgeous. The red on the black, it just pops, and it's great, like a champagne cork at a great party. So for rating the books, what we usually do is, and I mentioned this in my first video, I think, but I'm going to do it again. I might even do it on every video we do a book for the book club. That way you don't have to watch previous videos, although we appreciate it if you do. The four of us give a rating out of 10. And we're really cute with it too, because we give decimal points, which you'll see in a second. And then I combine the four ratings, divide it by 4, and that's our overall rating of the book. So one person can skew the ratings one way or the other, as you will definitely see. Maybe not in this one, but in the future. Maybe even tomorrow. Okay, so my personal rating for this was 8.25 out of 10. AJ, my wife's, 7.25. Evelyn, our daughter, 5.70. And the grandmother, my mom, 5.50. Add them all together, divide it by 4, and you get a total GKBC rating of 6.675 out of 10. Might seem low, but I think that's pretty good. So that's The Shining. I would love to hear what you think of it. So get a hold of me if you want. Take a stroll in the comment section. The Grozdaughter, Evelyn, has given me a trivia question for today. I had an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to throw that on tomorrow's video, which will be, or it might even go out later tonight, I'm not sure. We're going to film it here in a little bit. Which will be the Dr. Sleep novel. So, decided to do the movie last to give Evelyn a chance to do our thumbnails and whatnot. But anyway, the trivia question is, how many wives did Henry VIII have? And I'm going to try and show you this because this is really cool. She drew the roque mallet with a puddle of blood. I don't know if you can see that real good, but it's really neat. She's a doodler. She clearly has great artistic ability and talent and drive, as you've seen in the cosplays. And if you're paying attention to our brand new thumbnails, she's drawing all of those. We used the same one for The Shining. She wrote on them, part 1, part 2, part 3. wait till you see what she came up with for Dr. Sleep. I'm beyond impressed. So, and she does that at her channel, Jack is Bored. She does animation. I got cut off by time, but we're gonna splice these together. I talked a little bit too long. Went outside my comfort zone. But anyway, Jack is Bored. I will link that down below. I always do. She does our logo and everything. And I always forget to do this, and I don't know why, but I want to put out a special thank you to AJ, because she does the camera shot. She does all the camera work. She makes sure that you can see everything. And we've all been learning together, because this is something completely foreign to us. So, yeah, she deserves a lot of credit for making it work and getting better as we go. So that's The Shining, the novel. And like I said, either later tonight or tomorrow. And lead pipe cinch on this one. We'll be doing the Dr. Sleep video. I've got the book and the script right over here. We've got the thumbnail drawn up. Everything's good to go. It's just filming it and then putting it out. So we appreciate everything. We love it when people comment. It's you know, it's a thrill to us, because people actually want to hear me talk about books, you know, and the shots and stuff, and all the artwork and everything. It means a lot to us when you interact with us. So yeah, I will see you in the next video, and I guess read more.